YouTube. This is Dr. Wanda, and I'm seated with
Gia.
So today is a special day because this makes 1 year that we live in Africa. So we came here, we left the U.S. September 17th, and we arrived in Ghana September 18th, and this adventure started. So we have a lot to reflect on, but I told Gia, I said, one thing for sure we need to do that I don't think we've done as much as we probably should have, which is to really thank
our family,
our American family. That Ghana, or rather even if we just say Africa in general, but specifically Ghana, has hosted us very well.
Yeah.
We've had all of the protections and adventures, even when we've had some tough stuff happen. Like, we've gotten to the point where Gia's had some fights. People wanted to fight her.
Yeah.
I've had just some sort of disappointments with adults that I'm engaging here with who've tried to cheat or always begging, and these are things that have turned us off. In spite of that stuff, for the most part, Ghana has hosted us well. But in truth, you like that but?
Yeah, that but.
Who has sustained us? Who has maintained us? Who has prayed for us? Who have lifted us up? Who has kept the pulse of how we're feeling and how we're doing? Who has loved us over bumps and lumps? Who has seen us through the biggest storms? Is our American family.
Yep.
Without you all, we could not have had as successful a hosting as we have had. Every time I felt like my spirit was getting low, I could feel my prayer warriors over there. When my pocketbooks were short, what happens?
It's just like when you run out of money, it's just like they're just angels. They just can hear it. Like, she needs us.
She needs us. Even with my projects, if I announce a project or I'm working on something, because I am a true grassroots activist. I don't believe that you have to kiss up to corporations, that everything is about sucking up to folks who offer grants and they want you to write 6, 7, 8, 9 pages and go through all these different leaps and bumps. I don't believe that I have to complete, with all my credentials and experience, I don't believe that I should be at this juncture auditioning and sort of vying, for attention. And so I do everything on a shoestring budget. Most of what I do requires in-kind donations. Every now and then I'll run a Facebook fundraiser, but when I'm home, I do my own personal self-funding. I take on extra jobs and responsibilities to fund my projects. But it has been amazing to me on this continent how I could just say, I want to have an art festival, and someone in the U.S. will say, I'm willing to donate. I want to buy the coloring books. I'll help you with markers. Even down to now, like there are certain people who will just ship me a box. They ship me a box of very beautiful things, put together donations. Even at the U.S. end, there are still donations coming to the house that I have to have somebody collect and sort through. And I just have to say,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Part of the reason we left the U.S. was why? Why did we leave?
We left because we would just be trapped in the house. You can't go on the porch that much. When you go on the porch, you can't go no further than that.
Well, you can go on the porch. You just couldn't go much further.
You just couldn't go much further.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't go around the corner to see a friend. You like those certain things that you can't do when you're in the U.S. because it's gun violence and bullying at school.
And so COVID just took what was already
terrible.
It made it
terror.
And made it terror. Yeah. So I had to choose. Listen, this was not a nostalgic choice. This wasn't me longing for the motherland. I've long been living out my Abrahamic experience and coming to the nations. Before I ever came to Ghana, I've been to South Africa, to Uganda, to Tanzania. So this wasn't the year of the return for me. This was me looking at my 10-year-old spirit be completely broken and watching her become more and more addicted to the technology which has so many toxic and satanic layers to it that I knew it was unhealthy. I'm like, no, your best friend is not a bot. It's not a, what y'all call those things on Roblox and stuff like that. What are those?
We call them. They had a specific name, but we just call them like anyhow, just Roblox character.
Yeah, Roblox character. I'm like, how is that your best friend? How is it not a living human being? But then once we couldn't move about, and that was limited. Once restaurants was closed, and one of our favorite dates was the library, and we would go to the library as a team, but we split up. She go in her section, I go in my section. We couldn't even do the library.
I mean, the library with so many books, movies, games,
and they special programming. They have just cute little program. Once that was gone, I was like, oh my God. And then the other thing was, we came back from having lived in Africa for 4 months, and both of us, our health and our weights had gone into a healthy range. With me, I'm in that age group now. I look at the stats. What's happening with that cholesterol, with that blood pressure? What's happening with that the diabetic screening? These are the things that most disturb me. But I was looking, and we started packing on that weight.
We did.
And that weight is death.
I mean, I looked at just an old picture of me, and I was just like, seriously?
It came on fast.
I mean, it's easier to gain weight than lose weight.
Yes.
But when you come here, it's just like like the foods that they eat. They don't get this stuff from the grocery store and all this.
It's not processed. It's from the ground to the plate. It's from the ground to the plate. It's from the lake, the ocean to the plate. Yeah, it's organic. It's wonderful. So I had to choose between the child and the elder, because I left my mother in that house. And if there's a choice between the elder and the baby, I had to choose the baby. And that has not been an easy decision. And so much of my American family, individuals there, have prayed for me and encouraged me and told me, listen, you made a tough decision, but the truth is you made the right decision, because my mother doesn't want to come.
She does not want to come. I mean, I was just walking down to the gas station with her, and I was just like, Grandma, you have to go with us. If you make it so easy, if you just go with us. She was like, no, I don't feel like talking about it. I don't feel like this conversation, which I don't feel like it. No, please don't bring this while we're walking. It's just like she just shut the whole thing down. She just shut it down.
So here's the reality. On this shoestring budget is how I run any of the work I do. I always go back down to the very basics. And that's all training I get from my black family, my American family, where we've never had anything. So we know what it means to get together and help each other. And to keep it simple. A little bit at a time goes a long way. That you can actually, just by sort of coming together two and three, you can get a lot done. And so I do that way. But in terms of employment, I am still an underemployed professor. I'm still going through all of the traumas and trials that I went through that pushed me to the continent in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so I don't have a huge personal income. But where that income is weak in the U.S. is solid here. Okay?
Yeah,
and the secret is, here's the secret. March was the last time I worked for Concordia University. And as part of COVID, they downsized, and they didn't say a word. They gave us no warning that you wouldn't have a class, or this class. And the Lord stirred me to start something of my own. So I started the cafe. And I started the online store in the same week. And the cafe I still run as a couple of days a week.
Almost like a plate.
Yeah, like a community center.
Yeah.
So we open it up for them. But I was losing money. It cost me money to run the cafe.
It cost me money. Making the same.
I was making some money, but not enough money to justify running it. And so I directed my attention to the online store. And that's essentially what we're living off of. That sustains us here, And when I first announced it, it was my American family. You guys went up there, and I think in one day I had $200-300 worth of sales. Well, This economy is such. If you make 3,000, if you make 3,500 for a year, you're living well. If you can get 1,000 Ghana, which is basically like $200 a month, you can be okay here. So you can't even imagine how great of a boost your buying from Wonderland's Naturals did for me. You got me through a huge hump. I was able to pad myself in preparation for what still is a long journey. I still have no class. It's now September, and I still have no class from Concordia, so I'm still living off that store. But the boost that you gave me made me take the store seriously, put great effort in it. The store has gotten stronger. We've shipped things to France, to Canada, to the Netherlands, to Hawaii. I've gotten better product besides just my Vagistine gowns, which is a huge seller. A lot of the African natural products, the tooth scrubs, the bathing scrubs, the herbs, all of this stuff goes out the door, and I have to give my thanks to you, because it was your response to me even launching it that gave me more courage and determination to treat this gift. Because when the Holy Spirit inspires you, you have to take that nudging seriously. And it was your response to it that made me take it serious. So you've been helping to sustain us.
Yeah.
Even when it's not a donation for a project, you have literally been helping to sustain us. And so I told you, I said, we cannot celebrate this day and not celebrate our American family.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just not one family.
No.
It's a whole entire nation coming
Whole
from
nation.
all
Different states.
All different states.
And different states of relationship, from my son to former students to former colleagues, co-workers, to her teachers. Some of her teachers.
Your old classmates?
My old classmates, my friends from Detroit, who are like, we talking grade school stuff now, have all stepped in and helped me. And then, of course, God always has his angels. These are people, relationships, beautiful spirits that you collect along the way, who come to you and say, look, I've been observing you. I like what you're doing, and I want to support you, and I'm willing to put my money behind my mouth. I got you. I got your back. Let me know what your needs are. So this video is a celebration of having done a year, which Gia tell you, it hasn't been an easy year.
Not an easy year. Like you said, people tried to fight me and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got through diseases and all kinds of stuff. Well, it's been such a great year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you go through the ups and downs and
Of friendships, disappointments, struggling through this new marriage to see what's here, learning what your family members are, which ones you can be close with, and which ones you need to distance yourself from, the terrain, the weather.
Yep. I mean, it's been an amazing year. I mean, I just can't believe I could actually just call it a year with my mom in a different country. A year. We've been other places for months, for a few months, or maybe 1 month, 2.
Always at least 2.
At least 2. But we've been for a whole entire year.
Okay. I wouldn't change a thing for the stuff that I've learned. And here is the most important thing that's happened to me. I've never been on an anti-American platform. This has always been a spiritual journey for me to recapture what I consider my ancestral birthright, which is coming to the motherland. Okay, I'm of African descent, but I don't belong to any tribes, and I'm not trying to belong to any tribes. I come from a resilient tribe, which is the stolen African. Okay, and so where I have been so frustrated with us as blacks, we survived slaveocracy, we survived Jim Crow, we survived segregation, we survived so much, and they never could take us down until they started dumping drugs and guns into our communities, and we started losing our mothers. We had never lost our mothers, where sometimes they had gotten our fathers. We never lost our mothers, so our communities are so unstable with addiction, and violence is very prominent in our communities, and it all gives you a certain kind of depression, particularly as you're raising children. And so I was angry with us, mad at us. I love us, never get it wrong. But there was a frustration about it, and I came to Africa. And one thing that I learned from being here, and it brought back my love to my own tribe, that stolen African, is that the one thing that we know how to do is to help each other.
Yeah, we do.
And and this is just me being 100. The Africans don't really always help each other.
In fact, they tend to not. I was literally, um, um, do you mind if I mention?
I mean, you can mention it without, say what you speak your heart.
I was like how mom said I was in a fight, and the boy put my hands behind me, and he literally twisted. I'm already a chubby girl, so that whole twisting arm is just complete.
A no-go.
A no. My hands were red and hot. My arm, if I lifted, I was just gonna cry, and it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my whole entire cousin sat there, and she literally watched me in pain, and she just sat there and just watched my face, and it's just like.
She didn't help.
And I was literally.
She didn't scream. She didn't go get no adult. She didn't help.
And I mean, I asked her after, and she told me, she finally got the courage to tell me. She said, "Dear, I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything, and I didn't go yell or anything because that boy already bothered me before, and he's 10 times stronger than me." And
so
I
she
said,
was scared.
"Yeah." And I told her, I was like, my mother told me that even if you can't, fight for somebody else, at least go shout and get an elder. And she said I couldn't even do that. I'm scared that he would go pick on me too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the truth. Now, just so that we have it on camera, she'll let you know I raised complete hell, and we did get to the bottom of it, and he was dealt with and confronted. And I do have to give thanks to Isaac, who normally is way too relaxed, way too it'll solve itself. He actually took it serious, because I told him, I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm ready for Ghana police. Like, we're not going to have that where she's in Africa fighting no boys. Like, that's not going to happen here. And so it did get settled because the family knew the family who knew the family, and it got settled. But yeah, she learned about her cousin's character, that girl would watch her be mistreated and would not get in that mess. And that was painful for Jiabu, but it was an important lesson for her to learn and understand. And you glad you learned it?
I'm glad I learned it.
The stakes are lower here. See, in the U.S., guns get involved. Yeah. Gangs get involved. The stakes are lower here. In this situation, the elder and family systems got involved, and it got settled. So I appreciate that. But I have fallen so much back in love with the stolen African, with blacks. And I understand this in a different kind of way. So I'm always telling people, listen, I'm not looking for no African name. Like, you don't have to have a ceremony for me with that. You don't have to do any sort of special nothing, because I know who I am. I know who I come from. Just a beautifully resilient group that, in spite of every atrocity and trick by the enemy, is still here. And the ones that have floated above it, that's healthy enough to still stand for something and know what they come from, are still fighting. And those spirits are the ones that are backing me and Gia. Those are the ones. And so I thank you so much for being me, for being in my family, for loving me, for just even just all of it. And so this is the little tune I want to play as we sign off.
Yep.
This is a day of celebration. Maybe we ain't gonna do this.
Yeah, we are.
We're all a part of God's body. This is And that's what we learned. We can stay in Africa all we want, but we are not the least bit confused about who we need. And we still need you to survive. We're so proud and to be connected to you. And we thank you for everything that you've done for us while we've been in Africa.
Yep.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, we're signing off.
Thank you.